everyone and welcome back to Marvellous Maths. I hope you're all having a good week and you're enjoying your activities. In our last lesson together, we were learning how to identify fractions of shapes. So in today's lesson, we're going to be building on our knowledge of fractions by learning how to calculate fractions of amounts. So I hope you're all ready to have a little warm up and start with our 5 a day. Remember to pause the video after I've read each question out loud if you need to. If you don't, you can stay with me and see if you can beat me to it. Ready for question 1? 22 plus 7. I think 22 plus 7 is 29. Well done if you got that one. Moving quite quickly today, so see if you can challenge yourself to stay with me. 22 in your head, 7 on your fingers, and you would count forward 7 from 22 and you'd land on 29. Question 2. 35 plus 7 plus 3. Ready? I'll go through the answer now if you are. 35 plus 7 plus 3 equals 45. So 2 different ways that you could do this actually. You could put 35 in your head first, then add on 7, and you get yourself to 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. You get to 42. And then you could add on the last 3 to 42. 42, 43, 44, 45. And you'd land on 45. Or you could recognise that 7 plus 3 is a number 1 to 10. So 7 add 3 equals 10. So you could do 35 and add on 10 to get you to 45. So well done if you recognise that and used that method. 49 take away 7. I think 49 take away 7 is 42. Well done if you beat me to that one. 49 in your head, 7 on your fingers, and we count backwards because we're taking away. 49, 48, 47, 46, 45, 44, 43, 42. Well done. 55 plus 30. 55 plus 30 is 85. So starting at 55, and we put 3 on our fingers, but we're counting forwards in 3 tens, not 3 ones, because there's 3 tens in 30. So we count forwards 3 tens from 55. 55, 65, 75, 85. Well done. And again, if you have 100 square at home, you could use this one to help you. So you'd start at 55, starting here, and we count on 3 tens. And remember, when we're counting on 3 tens using 100 square, we move down at the 100 square. Okay, so we do 10, 20, 30, and we'd land on 85. Okay, so you can use that for some trickier questions if you want to. A quarter of 40. Ready? A quarter of 40 is 10. There are 2 ways that you can do this. You could use your ladybird and dots method, where you split your ladybird into 4 sections because we're dividing by 4, finding a quarter, and then you would share 40 dots between those 4 sections. But because 40 is quite a high number, it would take us quite a long time to do this method, this written method. So the method I would recommend for this one is counting in your 4 times tables until you get to 40, okay? And you would have 10 on your fingers. So let's count forwards in 4s. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40, and you should have 10 fingers up showing, so your answer is 10. Okay, when the number's a little bit too big, it's easier for us to do our counting in times tables rather than this written method. Okay, well done. Okay, now that our brains are nice and warmed up, let's move on to learning how to calculate fractions of amounts. Okay, so just to get started, let's have a little recap of what a fraction is. Okay, so we know that a fraction's got two parts. It's got this top number, a line, and then a bottom number. Can you remember what this top number is called? What's the name for it? Have you remembered? This top number is called the numerator. Okay, it's the number of parts that we're thinking about. Can you remember what this number is called? What is the name for the bottom number? Ready? The bottom number is called the denominator. It's the number of parts in total. Okay? So here's what we're going to be covering in today's lesson. We're going to be learning how to find half, quarter, 1/3, 3/4, and 2/3 of a number. So let's start off by finding half. To find half of a number of objects, you need to divide them in two. Okay, pay attention to this bottom number here, dividing them in two. You might remember it. So our first step is to count the number of cakes. Can you do that for me? Okay, have you counted the cakes? We have got 8 cakes here. So the calculation we're doing here is half of 8. We are finding half of 8. Okay, so to find half of 8, I am going to divide these cakes into 2. I'm going to share them between these 2 people. Okay, so let's have a go at doing that. So 1 for the girl, 1 for the boy. 1 for the girl, 1 for the boy, 1 for you, 1 for you, and 1 for you. Okay, so I have shared out those 8 cakes between 2 people. I have divided the 8 cakes into 2. Okay, so you might remember from our lessons on division, I now need to count how many cakes just one person has got. So can you have a look? How many cakes does just one person have? Well done, they have got 4. So we can say that half of 8 equals 4. So now we're going to have a look at a method of finding half without using objects. This is the same method that we used in our division by sharing lesson. Okay, so I need to be looking at my bottom number here because we know if we're finding half, we're dividing by 2. We're sharing between 2. Okay, so to do this, I need 2 little groups, 2 circles. Okay, we could imagine these are people and we're sharing cakes between them. Okay, but this is just a method that we can use to write down ourselves. So I'm dividing by 2. And this is the number I'm dividing by, finding out what 16 divided by 2 is, or half of 16. So I need to share 16 dots between these 2 circles. So let's do that together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so I've shared those out. Now I need to count how many dots there are in just one circle. So can you count them for me? Have you counted? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dots in one circle. So our answer to half of 16 is 8. Okay, well done. You might remember that method from our division lesson together. So moving on to finding 1/4. So to find 1/4, we need to divide by 4. So when we're finding half, we divided by 2. And when we're finding quarter, we divide by 4. Look at that bottom number there. So first step, can you count how many bones there are here? Well done. There are 8 bones. Okay, so what we're doing is we're finding 1/4 of 8. Okay, so we're going to share these 8 bones between 4 dogs. Okay, because we're dividing by 4. Look at that bottom number. So let's have a go at sharing these 8 bones between 4 dogs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. I've shared those 8 bones between 4 dogs. So how many bones does just one dog have? Well done. They've got 2. So just one dog has got 2 bones. So 1/4 of 8 equals 2. So let's have a go at using our method without using objects. So this is the same method that we used to find half and the same method that we use when we are dividing. Okay, so we need to look at our bottom number. When we're finding 1/4 of a number, we are dividing by 4. Okay, so this time I need 4 circles, 4 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this time I'm finding 1/4 of 20. So I need to share 20 dots between these 4 groups. So count with me to 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, so to get my answer, I now need to count how many dots are in just one circle or one group. So how many dots are there in one circle? Well done, there are 5. So my answer is 5. 1/4 of 20 equals 5. Okay, well done. Okay, moving on to finding 1/3. So, little recap. We have to divide by 2 to find half. We have to divide by 4 to find 1/4. So what do you think we have to divide by to find 1/3? Have you got an answer? Okay, let me show you. We need to divide by 3 to find 1/3. So pay attention to all those bottom numbers there. That is the number that we are dividing by. Okay, so let's have a go at doing one. So here we've got 9 butterflies. We need to divide them between the 3 flowers at the bottom so that the same number of butterflies is on each flower. How many butterflies are on each flower? So our number sentence, our calculation, is 1/3 of 9. Okay, so I'm going to share these butterflies between these 3 flowers. Okay, so count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so I've shared those 9 butterflies between the 3 flowers. So how many butterflies are on just one flower? Well done, there are 3. So 1/3 of 9 equals 3. Let's have a go at doing an example without any objects. So this will be the same method that we use for finding half and finding 1/4. Okay, we're dividing by 3, remember? So this time we need to draw 3 circles. 1, 2, 3. And I'm finding a third of 18. So 18 is the number of dots that I need to share between my 3 circles. So count with me to 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, alternatively, if you know your 3 times tables, you could count in your 3s until you get to 18 and count then how many fingers you have up. Okay, so for this method though, our last step is to count how many dots are in just one circle. So can you count how many dots are in one circle? Well done, there are 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So our answer is 6. 1/3 of 18 equals 6. Well done. Okay, I'd like you to pause the screen here and have a go at these questions yourself. So you're going to need a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil, and you can use that written method that I showed you. Or if you know your times tables well enough, you can count in your times tables until you reach the second number here. Okay, so pause the screen here and have a go at these on your own. Okay, get ready to mark your own work. So I'm going to put the answers on the screen now. Here are your answers. So I'd like you to just compare the answers that are on the screen with the answers that you've got written down. And I want you to give yourself a tick and mark all the ones that you've got correct. So you're going to need to pause the screen here to have a good look. Okay, so it's time to take a little break if you need it, a little brain break, okay, and then come back to complete the rest of the lesson. Or if you're fine without a break, you can carry on and we can get into some more tricky stuff. Okay, so now we've had a look at finding half, quarter and a third, we're going to learn how to find 3/4. Okay, so to find 3/4, first we need to find out what 1/4 is. So there are 8 eggs here. If we divide these eggs between 4 baskets, how many eggs will be in each basket? So some of you might already be thinking about what the answer is, okay? But let's have a go at sharing these eggs between these 4 baskets. So our first step, number sentence calculation is 1/4 of 8. So let's share these 8 eggs between these baskets to find out what 1/4 of 8 is. Okay, so I've shared those 8 eggs between the 4 baskets. So how many eggs are in just one basket? What's 1/4 of 8 going to be? Well done, there are 2 eggs in just one basket. So the answer to 1/4 of 8 is 2. Okay, so that's our first step done. Our second step, finding 3/4, we simply count the number of eggs in 3 baskets. 1 basket tells me what 1/4 of 8 is. 3 baskets tells me what 3/4 is, okay? Or we could simply times our answer to 1/4 by 3, okay? So our answer was 2, and we would times that by 3. 2 times 3, and we get 6. Or we could count up the amount of eggs in 3 baskets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 2 different ways that you could do that. So 3/4 of 8 equals 6. So let's have a go at finding 3/4 of a number without using objects. So the question I've got here for you is 3/4 of 16. Okay, so our first step is to find what 1/4 is. So I need to know what 1/4 of 16 is. That's my step 1. Okay, so for step 1, I'm going to need 4 circles because I'm dividing by 4. Remember, this bottom number here, dividing by 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, then I need to share 16 between my 4 circles. So count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so now I just need to count up the amount of dots in one circle. So how many dots are there in one circle? Well done, there are 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So our answer to what 1/4 of 16 is 4. Okay, so to find out what 3/4 of 16 is, my next step, I can either count up the amount of dots in 3 circles. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, or I could times my answer to 1/4 by 3 and do 4 times 3. Okay, so let's count up the amount of dots in 3 circles together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so my answer to 3/4 is 12 because that's how many dots are in 3 circles. Or we can use our times tables and do 4 times 3. And we'd know from our times tables that 4 times 3 is 12. Okay, you could always use both methods and have a go at timesing the numbers together first, and then using this method to just check your answer is correct. Okay, so our answer to 3/4 of 16 is 12. Okay, so the 2 very important things that you need to remember about finding 3/4 of a number is there are 2 steps. The first step is finding 1/4, and the second step is timesing that number by 3. Okay, so you divide by 4 and times by 3. Repeat after me. Divide by 4 times by 3. Your turn. Good. Divide by 4 times by 3. Okay, so on to finding 2/3. This is a very similar method to finding 3/4. Okay, so we already know how to find 1/3. Okay, so that's our first step. First step is to find out what 1/3 is. So here we've got 6 brushes. If we divide the brushes between 3 jars, how many brushes will be in each jar? So we are dividing 6 brushes by 3 to find out what 1/3 is. So let's do that together. So 1/3 of 6, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 1/3 of 6. What is the answer to 1/3 of 6? Can you tell me by looking at those paintbrushes? So well done. You have remembered that we count up the amount in just one jar. So the number of paintbrushes in just one jar is 2. So the answer to 1/3 of 6 is 2. Okay, so that's our step 1 completed. So our second step, if you haven't guessed it already, is to find out what 2/3 is. So we simply count the number of brushes in 2 jars. Okay, because the number of brushes in 1 jar gave us 1/3. The number of brushes in 2 jars will give us 2/3. Okay, so how many brushes are there in 2 jars? Well done, there are 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, or you could take your answer to 1/3, which was 2, and times that by 2, because we don't want to know what 1/3 is, we want 2/3, so we times it by 2. 2 times 2 equals 4. So 2/3 of 6 equals 4. So let's have a go at doing a question without using any objects. Okay, so our first step, remember, is to find out what 1/3 is. That's what I need to do first. So 1/3 of 12. So the question that we are answering is what 2/3 of 12 is. Okay, so 1/3 of 12, I am dividing by 3. Look at that bottom number there. So I need 3 circles. And I'm finding out what 1/3 of 12 is. So I need to share 12 dots between these 3 circles. So count with me to 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so now to find out what 1/3 of 12 is, get my answer, I just need to count up the amount of dots that are in one circle. So can you tell me how many dots are in one circle? Well done, there are 4. So our answer to 1/3 of 12 is 4. Okay, but I don't want to know what 1/3 is, I want to know what 2/3 is. So to get my answer to 2/3 of 12, I could either count up the amount of dots in 2 circles, or I could multiply my answer to 1/3 by 2. Okay, let's start with the first method. So let's count how many dots there are in 2 circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so my answer is 8. Or if you wanted to use your times tables, you could do 4, because that was our answer to 1/3, times 2, because I want to know what 2/3 are. And we know that 4 times 2 equals 8. Okay, so we can always use both of those methods to just check that our answer is correct. Okay, so our answer to 2/3 of 12 is 8. Okay, here are some questions for you to have a go at yourselves. So you're going to need to pause the video here on this screen, grab your paper and your pen or pencil, and have a go at working out these questions. So you've got 3/4, you've got 2/3, and you've also got a couple of other challenge questions here. And I'm not going to tell you how to do these. I want you to try and figure out how you work out 1/8 of a number and 1/6 of a number using what you have learnt in our lesson today. Okay, so have a go, pause the screen, have a go at these yourselves. Okay, get ready to mark your own work. I'm going to put the answers on the screen now. Here are your answers. Okay, so just compare the answers that are on the screen with the answers that you've got written down, and I'd like you to go through and mark your own work. Well done. Well done everyone for completing this lesson on fractions of amounts. I hope you all have a lovely end to your week and enjoy your weekend. Remember to stay safe, and I'll see you very soon. Bye everyone.